Okay, I'm going to take you through what the performance was for today. Um, so there's two categories that we track. We know that 9:30 to 12 o'clock. That's for people who don't want to trade all day. 9:30 to 12 o'clock. And in that category, what I'm tracking is an assumption that we're taking all signals. You're taking every momentum signal, every consensus signal, and every trend bias signal during that 9:30 to 12 o'clock noon time period. So these are Eastern time frames. Today we knocked down 40 points. That's a pretty strong performance. We did 10 trades, 80% win rate. So that's pretty solid. In the other category that we're tracking um, assuming that we only took the trend bias trades. So this is all part of the adaptive entry system. We're taking only the trend bias trades and we're locking in a profit at 10 points. We're not holding for 20, we're not holding for 30, we're not holding for the full cycle, we're locking in 10 points. Today we had 11 trades. We only had a 64% win rate, but we ended up at just under 30 points, 29.25 points. Now when I'm talking about points, I'm talking about NQ. We're trading the NASDAQ futures. Each point is equivalent to $20. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our 9:30 to 12 time frame. We're going to jump over to our personal trading plan, and we are keeping track of our performance. We started doing this last week in the live trading room. The personal trading plan has been part of our tool set for quite some time, but we just started doing this in the live trading room. What we're going to do is continue to do this on a daily basis and track performance so that you can see how you build towards a specified income. All right, so we had 40 points of profit at $80 a point. That is $800. And we had, hold on one second. And we had 10 trades. So we plug in our 10. That accounts for commissions and expenses, fees that we have associated with those 10 trades. So here's our performance for the last 8 days. Now we're really just getting started. This is a 12-month forecast. Right here shows us what our actual average is. This is based on points, 23.66 points average per day. And at $20 a point, that's averaging out to just over $470 a day. That's a pretty reasonable number, and that's based on trading a single contract. So we know we're averaging 23, just over 23.5 points. And so for the future forecast, for the remainder of the 12 months, this number tells us what we will plan in our forecast. Realistically, we're averaging over 23 points. I have 20 built in the forecast. This number will be changed a few times in the first probably couple of months of establishing your actual numbers, because your actuals are going to drive an average that is based on your trading pattern. So I'm going to modify that to 23. All right, that's right in line with what we're actually averaging. And we do have an assumption here that once a week, one day a week, we have a losing day, and that we lose 10 points, which would be $200 on one contract. So the other thing that we then would adjust on a daily basis, if we choose to, is, well, how many contracts are we willing to grow up to? Obviously, we're starting with one contract because our intention is to start small and grow up our account with some reasonable risk management. So our account starts with $5,000, and we're willing to allocate up to 10% of our account balance towards contracts. When you're trading NQ futures, NASDAQ 100 futures, with Infinity Futures, who we trade with, you need $500 of margin per contract. So if we have $5,000 as a starting point, we're only going to trade one contract. If we grow the account to over $10,000, that means that we could have two contracts. So this number right here is deciding in our 12-month forecast, well, how many contracts am I willing to trade a maximum of? It still is limited by 10%. Like, you wouldn't trade 5 contracts unless that was 10% or less of the value of your account. But some people aren't comfortable trading more contracts. Some people don't think it's realistic to trade more contracts. Whatever you decide, you can set that. If we continue to average 23 points a day and have one losing day a week, and we were able to trade up to 5 contracts, that means that our 12-month potential income is $400,000, just over $400,000. That's realistic. This is not pie in the sky. This is not hype. This is not smoke and mirrors. This is all just math. We know exactly what we produced today. We did it in our live trading room. We have, a whole community of people who are observing the trades in live mode in the live trading room. They witnessed these trades. They know what we're producing, and that's the actual. Okay, so you have the potential of making $400,000 if you trade up to 5 contracts and you average 23 points a day. Now, you can adjust this to whatever you want. Maybe you're more conservative. You want to trade 3 contracts as a max, because that would end up being an ultra-conservative approach. That would be significantly less than 10% of your total balance once you get to that level. Maybe you're somebody who is more aggressive and you want to trade 10 contracts. You're willing to trade up to 10 contracts. It's going to dramatically change the potential income for you depending on the number of contracts that you put in there. I think 5 is very realistic, considering it is 10%, no more than 10% of the total balance of the account. So we're going to save that, and then we're going to come back to our trading plan, our performance tracking, and we're going to see we had 29.25 points. So 29.25 points, and that is 29.25 times $20 a point on NQ. That's $585. We're going to go back to our trading plan, and we're tracking that second category in case you didn't want to trade just 9:30 to 12. We're showing you what it could be in that one category. And these tend to be the smaller, some of the smaller categories of everything that we're tracking. So again, I think it's relatively conservative as to what we are projecting here. $585, and there were 11 trades to get there. So now our average in this category, if we were trades from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., taking only the trend bias trades and locking in 10 points, our actual average is 32.5 points a day. Our forecast for the future is based on 33 points a day, so it's right in line. And in this forecast, we're saying we average, or we'll trade up to a maximum of 3 contracts. Again, that is a variable that you can set. Maybe you're somebody who wants to only trade a maximum of 2 contracts. Well, you can see that at the current run rate, that's almost $250,000. Maybe you're someone who is willing to trade 5 contracts. That is a variable that you can set. There's no one right answer. It has to be realistic. I mean, don't put 100 contracts in there if you're not super comfortable with that. Don't do that. And certainly don't put an unrealistic number in your future forecast for the number of points. It should be based on what you're currently averaging. So if I go back to the tracking and I look at our averages, the average of the personal trading plans we actually just started filling out last week. So we have 8 days under our belt. This data is what we've been tracking since we started live trading the adaptive entry system. And we're tracking a variety of categories, anything from 3 a.m. to 4 p.m., because eventually we hope to have an auto trading service. 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., all signals, 9:30 to 4, 7 to 12. We break it down a variety of ways, and we show you right here. So whereas from 9:30 to 12, we're averaging just over 36 points. If I wanted to trade from 7 to 12, we're averaging 66 points. Or 9:30 to 4 is averaging 85 points. Remember, each point is worth $20 on a single contract. So there's a variety of things, a variety of opportunities here, depending on how much time commitment you have, how much capital commitment you have in terms of contracts, and also what strategy you want to trade. This all signals assumes that we're trading each of the 3 strategies within the adaptive entry system. Trend bias plus assumes that you're only trading the trend bias system and you're locking in 10 points, but you could trade and lock in 20 points, or you could lock in or you could wait for the full cycle, or you could lock in 30 points. So a lot of flexibility here, but it's all based on real activity, live trades. We're doing this in our live trading room every day. So I'm pretty excited about the trading plan forecast and what those numbers could mean. Again, you can play around with a maximum number of contracts. That is a big variable. If you're only trading 10%, or maybe even change that to 5% of your account, and you're willing to trade up to, it'll zero out, because 5% when you start with 5,000 isn't going to give you a contract. But you could change that down the road to 5%, and then maybe you're willing to trade up to 10 contracts. There are some big numbers that are possible, and it's all just a matter of your comfort level and paying attention to your performance and being realistic with your forecast based on actual performance. So I'm going to leave that at 5 for now. I think that that's realistic based on being 10% of the total balance of the account. So we're pretty excited about this, and hope to see you in the live trading room, where we're doing this every day in a live trading mode.